In 1979, American manufacturers delivered nearly 3,000 light twin aircraft. Pilots couldn't get enough of them. The Beech Baron, Piper Seneca, Cessna 310. These were the machines that defined serious aviation. Then the market collapsed, and it never recovered. By 2020, global twin sales had cratered to fewer than 100 aircraft per year. Piper stopped building the Seneca entirely. Beech sold just 15 Barons. Industry analysts declared the light twin effectively dead. But here's what nobody expected. While American giants watched their twin-engine empires crumble, a small Austrian company was quietly engineering something that would rewrite everything the industry believed about what a modern twin should be. Diamond Aircraft's DA62 wasn't just another airplane. It was a calculated assault on 50 years of conventional wisdom. Twin engine power with single engine fuel burns, 7 seats wrapped in carbon fiber, diesel engines burning the same jet fuel as airliners. The result? Diamond now dominates a market segment that was supposed to be extinct. They're outselling Baron and Seneca combined by a massive margin. This is the story of how an Austrian underdog built an aircraft so fundamentally superior that it didn't just compete with the American legends, it made them obsolete. To understand how Diamond conquered the twin market, you need to understand where they came from. And it wasn't from the gleaming factories of Wichita or Vero Beach. In 1981, a small company called Hoffmann Flugzeugbau opened its doors in rural Austria. Their product? Motor gliders, elegant, efficient, utterly irrelevant to the serious business of American aviation manufacturing. Nobody in Kansas lost sleep over Austrian glider builders, but then Christian Dries entered the picture. When Dries acquired the struggling company in 1991, he saw something the American giants had missed entirely. The general aviation market was being dominated by designs that belonged in museums. The Beech Baron traced its lineage to 1961, the Piper Seneca to 1971. These weren't modern aircraft. They were antiques with updated paint schemes. Dries believed composite materials, digital avionics, and revolutionary powerplants could reshape everything. His vision seemed impossibly ambitious for a company building sailplanes in the Austrian countryside. Then came 2004 and Diamond's boldest gamble yet, the DA42 Twin Star, the first new European twin in its category in over 25 years. But here's what made it truly radical. Instead of conventional gasoline engines, Diamond chose diesel power plants from a German company called Thielert. The concept was brilliant. Diesel engines burning globally available jet fuel, dramatically lower fuel consumption, simplified operations. Initial sales exceeded expectations. Diamond appeared to have cracked the code. Then everything fell apart. Thielert's engines developed catastrophic reliability problems. Gearboxes required inspection every 300 hours. Owners reported chronic maintenance nightmares, parts shortages, endless downtimes. The company's support structure collapsed under warranty claims it couldn't honor. In February 2008, Thielert declared bankruptcy. Think about what this meant for Diamond. Over 500 DA42s and 400 DA40s were now powered by engines from a company that no longer existed. Owners couldn't get parts. Aircraft sat grounded indefinitely. Diamond's reputation hung by a thread. The American manufacturers watched with barely concealed satisfaction. The upstart Austrians had gambled on unproven technology and lost. The natural order would reassert itself. But Christian Dries didn't see a disaster. He saw an opportunity that would change aviation forever. Most companies would have retreated to safety, abandoned diesel technology entirely, and installed conventional Lycoming engines. Diamond did something far more audacious. They decided to build their own engine from scratch. Within months of Thiele's collapse, Dries had invested €50 million into a brand new venture, Austro Engine. The facility rose directly adjacent to Diamond's Wiener Neustadt factory. The mission was audacious. Build a world-class aviation diesel engine from the ground up, certify it through European regulators, and rescue hundreds of stranded aircraft owners. All before the company bled to death. Here's where Diamond made a brilliant strategic decision. Instead of designing an entirely new power plant, Austro partnered with Mercedes-Benz Technology and Bosch Engineering. They selected the Mercedes OM640 diesel engine, a power plant proven across millions of A-class vehicles worldwide. The automotive supply chain had already invested over $500 million perfecting this engine. Austro would leverage that reliability rather than reinvent it. The certification process consumed 42 grueling months. Engineers worked against impossible deadlines, while DA42 owners waited desperately for a solution. The final cost approached €50 million. But in March 2009, European regulators granted approval. Diamond had pulled off the impossible. Now Dries could think bigger. Picture this. The year is 2012. Dries gathers his engineering team and issues a challenge that sounds borderline delusional. Build a flying SUV. 7 seats, twin-engine safety with single-engine simplicity, fuel economy that makes competitors look like relics from the petroleum age. The result was the DA62, and the numbers behind it are staggering. A Beach Baron burns approximately 28 gallons per hour at cruise. The DA62, just 11 to 12 gallons total, both engines combined. That's not incremental improvement. That's a fundamental disruption of twin-engine economics. But here's what really changes the equation. The DA62 runs on Jet A fuel, the same kerosene powering commercial airliners, available at virtually every airport on Earth, typically 40 to 50% cheaper than aviation gasoline. In regions where avgas simply doesn't exist, the DA62 operates without compromise. The airframe itself represents equally radical thinking. All-composite carbon fiber construction eliminates corrosion concerns entirely. The safety cell is crash-tested to 26 Gs. Formula One adopted similar composite cockpits decades ago, transforming fatal crashes into survivable incidents. Diamond applied identical philosophy to aviation. First flight occurred in April 2012, merely 6 months after announcement. ESA certification followed in April 2015. FAA approval came February 2016. Diamond had built their weapon. Now they needed to prove it worked in the most unforgiving environment imaginable, the real world. The aviation industry has a brutal way of exposing pretenders. Impressive specifications mean nothing if aircraft fall from the sky. Diamond needed to prove their revolutionary design could survive years of real-world punishment. The verdict is now in, and it's extraordinary. 0. That's the number of fatalities in American Diamond twins since their introduction in 2006. Across nearly 2 decades of operation with hundreds of DA42s and DA62s flying millions of hours, not a single American has died in one of these aircraft. For context, Diamond's overall accident rate sits at roughly 1/6 the general aviation average. Think about what this means for the fundamental argument against light twins. Critics have long claimed that engine failures in conventional twins create more danger than single-engine aircraft. The pilot must instantly identify the dead engine, maintain precise airspeed, and execute complex emergency procedures. Get it wrong, and the airplane becomes uncontrollable. Diamond engineered that problem away. The DA62's FADEC-controlled Austro engines feature automatic feathering. Lose an engine, and the pilot simply turns off one master switch. The aircraft continues flying with minimal drama. Single-engine climb performance reaches 450 feet per minute. The service ceiling on one engine exceeds 13,000 feet. The market responded accordingly. While Beechcraft delivered just 15 Barons in 2020 and Piper stopped building Senecas entirely, Diamond shipped over 200 aircraft that same year. By early 2024, 273 DA62s were flying worldwide. Production runs at 60 aircraft annually, with expansion planned in Brazil targeting 50 additional units per year. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Governments started paying attention. The Nigerian Air Force acquired 4 DA62 MPPs for intelligence and surveillance missions. Greece purchased 3 aircraft for €23 million to support firefighting and border patrol operations. The United Kingdom deployed DA62s for search and rescue coordination. Perhaps most telling is the endorsement from German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, himself a certified pilot. When critics questioned why he flies his personal DA62 instead of official vehicles, Merz responded that his aircraft actually consumes less fuel than government limousines. Independent fact-checkers investigated. He was right. The Austrian motor glider company that nobody took seriously now sells surveillance platforms to military forces across 3 continents. The revolution Diamond ignited isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. In 1979, the idea that an Austrian motor glider company would dominate twin-engine aviation would have been laughable. The Americans owned this market. They built the legends. They wrote the rules. But rules change when someone refuses to follow them. Diamond didn't try to build a better Baron. They asked a different question entirely. What should a twin-engine aircraft be in the 21st century? The answer was an airplane that burns half the fuel, runs on globally available jet fuel, wraps its passengers in crash-tested carbon fiber, and simplifies twin-engine flying to the point where engine failures become manageable rather than terrifying. The light twin didn't die. It evolved, and the companies that refuse to evolve are now watching from the sidelines as a manufacturer they once dismissed rewrites their industry. 5 million flight hours, 0 American fatalities, government contracts spanning 3 continents, and a waiting list of buyers who've done the math. Christian Dries and his team didn't just build an airplane. They proved that innovation beats legacy every single time. The era of the diesel twin has arrived, and Diamond isn't sharing the sky. Subscribe now. The next disruption in aviation is already taking shape.